Very good.
I didn't break. We're good. Good evening, everybody. It is 6:30 p.m. December 13th, 2023. I'm calling the regular city council meeting of the city of Wood Creek to order. Thank you for being here. If you will rise with me for a moment of silence and then remain standing to the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. And City Secretary will call the roll.
Yes, sir.
So we have four
Mayor Jeff Roscoe,
here.
Councilmember Linnea Bailey. Here. Councilmember Chris Emmett. Absent. Councilmember Bob Everett.
Here.
Councilmember Deborah Hines. Here. And Councilmember Krista Richardson. Here.
That's a nice ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have four. All right, we have two citizens signed up for public comment. Mike Weaver is number one. You want to speak during the agenda item? So we can wait for that. And Ms. Cornwell, you want to speak now
I'm
or?
going to speak now.
Okay, cool.
What I was going to talk about was Deborah, makes a recap, or used to, of the meetings, which I found very helpful. But I guess because of the, y'all were busy with campaigning and all, we haven't had one since April. And, since the minutes don't really tell you a lot, and the packet, like tonight, it's 122 pages, and the meetings are quite long. It would be very helpful if Mayor Rasko would sign the ones that she's completed that haven't been signed yet.
As you know, we can't comment back. We can talk later or
Okay.
or offline.
All right, thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna make a note. For the Weavers. We may move that agenda item up for you. That'd be great. All right, so we come to the consent agenda.
Mayor, it's asked that we remove item number 5, council meeting calendar from the consent agenda and table until our next regular council meeting.
Right. Move it out, you move the table, you have a second to table. I'll second that. Table to the next meeting, the January meeting.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Councilmember Linnea Bailey. Aye. Councilmember Bob Everett.
Aye.
Councilmember Deborah Hines.
Aye.
Councilmember Krista Richardson. Aye.
So passes. Working this table, anything else off the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda, remaining items 1 through 4 and 6 through 8.
Okay.
Seconded by Councilmember Bailey. Whenever you're ready.
Councilmember Bob Everett.
Aye.
Councilmember Deborah Hines.
Aye.
Councilmember Krista Richardson. Aye. Councilmember Linnea Bailey.
Aye.
Vicky.
All right, the consent agenda passes. That's all good. Reports from officers and council liaisons. The P and Z, liaison, council member Grummer is ill. I got word earlier that, the city manager, Rule could probably give us a, update on decisions made by P and Z.
For rainwater collection, nothing was done on that till they receive more information. And then for the fences, we will have a public hearing on that in, February to talk about that more.
Okay. Everyone?
Yep.
My report on the list of open volunteer positions, seemed to be, there were some discrepancies, some confusion on, some of the terms and things on that report that was, provided by staff. So, I will only say that, it's a very important, process that we're gonna go through, at the January meeting. This is not a form or a list that has to be voted on and approved. It's information only, so we'll get back on it. And make any, if there are corrections that need to be made, to have that available to us well before the January meeting, so we can look at it. And I know that some of you have been out recruiting or talking to people about service complications. So keep that up, because it's important that we feel that. That's about as best I can do on that one.
Mayor,
Mhm.
I don't understand what the, on Cody Avenue for Parks and Rec, what will Bolo means.
I didn't know what that meant either.
Follow up on him. He actually submitted his, application.
Okay.
This was put in a week ago, so it has changed. We were just letting you know, there's a number of vacated positions. Some of them, some committees no longer have a quorum because of the people who have resigned. And so, we'll be updating this, sending this out to you again, along with any applications that we receive for the new positions.
Perfect. That works. Any questions or comments? Good. Okay. Special orders, number 11, to discuss and take possible action on any suggested changes to the Wood Creek City Council rules of procedure. That's sort of a, annual process. If there's anything that we want to change or tweak in the rule of how we conduct these meetings, basically, from start to finish. So, open for discussion.
I have some questions about the two documents that are in the packet. If you go to page 56 where they start, I understand one shows a draft watermark and then the second one starting directly after that does not show a draft watermark. Does that mean that second one is, what is the second one? What version is that?
Okay, so if you look at the last page, 64, on the document that starts on page 61, the document you're referencing that does not have a draft is the resolution that was approved and signed July 12, 2023. Council subsequently revisited the same item in
The next meeting.
the next meeting, and a resolution was not created with that, because the item was not revisited after that. So the revisions that the council members voted on during that last meeting, amending, thank you, something with A. The document from July 12th, those are included in that draft that's dated January tenth that has the draft.
So that's the item we should be looking at tonight for the most part, because council did vote on those changes already. So in
Right.
theory, yeah, okay.
Right.
I noticed that in the second draft, the,
This resolution or the draft?
okay, so in the one that does not have the draft watermark, the adjustment to the submission timeline is there. Manager not later than 1 p.m. 1 week, 7 days. That's the adjusted timeline, correct?
What page are you looking at?
Looking at page 63.
That is the approved resolution that you're looking at.
Okay, so neither one of these feature the adjusted timeline, which bumps up the council submission date to the Friday.
Because that wasn't voted
That was
on.
never voted on.
Okay, so but that's one of the adjustments that's needed here.
The draft has 1 p.m. the Monday, the week preceding the meeting. That's on page 58. I had that highlighted, and what city manager Rule and I had discussed, just because we were struggling sometimes to get the agenda put together and approved, on Tuesday, and then try to post by, Thursday, just having that extra time, would be nice. So we were suggesting 1 p.m. on the Friday, basically 10 days, essentially, or the before.
Okay, yeah, so that change would need to be. We need to make a motion for that, if you wanna do that, okay.
May I make a suggestion? You just let us know what you want corrected, and as long as there's consensus here, we'll need to bring this back with an actual resolution. So you really don't have to vote on it.
I mean,
Just,
edit.
I can change that to the Friday and then whatever else, and then we'll bring a resolution in the January meeting
Right.
with your suggestions.
So with that being said, we need to make that adjustment, not later than 1 p.m. on the Friday of the week preceding, no.
We got it.
We got it.
I got it.
10 days prior, okay.
I know.
On this draft, I think everything else was there that on rule 1F, we leave off, it talks about a committee member, so we're on page 57. It says the agenda will have a section called city staff and or city committee reports for every regular meeting. Each staff or committee member will be responsible for providing report documentation in the agenda packet. Is this not the liaison? Because the council members are not committee members.
No, and staff doesn't put anything in there as well for committees.
Okay,
So,
So,
yeah, we need to,
that needs to
we
be
probably need to say that, council members,
the council liaison.
yeah, council
representation.
liaison, it should be under the reports from officers and council liaisons.
Okay, those are my
We'll
only notes.
update that one. We'll clean it up.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
I want to change the second regular council meeting time from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m.
I second that change.
Discussion?
It would just be helpful with, thinking the right from school, school gets out at 3:10, so trying to get here at 3 p.m. would be a little bit.
It would benefit my family as well. It's still in the early part of the day, which was the goal of that meeting. But gives us a little bit more room where childcare issues are less of a conflict to make meetings regularly.
We'll make all meetings at 4:30?
I think generally my response to that is generally the later meeting was for people who have to work. And so I think, we could err in that back the other way again, like when we were having midday meetings, so there was a lot of people who couldn't attend those, so I kind of like the idea of staggered time, so at least people have the opportunity to attend one meeting a month, depending on their schedules, but.
Well, me, thing as far as I'm concerned is that, you know, we can be here. Right, it's like we have to be able to get a quorum. And, that's the most important thing. Our meetings are recorded and made available. So, 3, 4:30 probably doesn't make that much difference. I mean, I don't have a problem with 6:30, I mean, so we're all here.
Just
Councilman.
right along those lines, I don't know that anybody would be inconvenienced that it's 4:30 versus 3. I do know that the staggered times were for people who wanted an earlier meeting, didn't want to be out as late. And then the other side is for people who work, that can't make it here by 3. So I think the 2 different times will service everybody.
Yeah, I just threw it out there. I didn't really have a strong feeling about it.
Is there any possibility of compromise to 4 o'clock instead of 4:30? I've had a regular Wednesday evening commitment for several years, and I miss it Wednesdays, that it's at 6:30 regularly. But if it were 4, maybe I could still make it to that commitment that I have on the other Wednesday. So instead of, I would only be absent once a month, not twice a month. That is what would happen if it were.
4 o'clock?
Yeah.
They will make that change as well. Let me, 6:30 first, or the second Wednesday, and then 4, the fourth Wednesday, okay. Easy to do.
Any other notes? Well, as I said, we didn't vote on that. There's changes put into the resolution form that we can, actually, vote on that next meeting.
Yeah, we'll bring it back in January, the first meeting in January.
All right, item number 12 is to discuss and take appropriate action on the appointment of Mayor Pro Tempore for the city of Woodford City Council for the upcoming year.
I move to nominate Councilwoman Hines for Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Wood Creek City Council for 2024.
A second.
Second by Councilman Bailey. Discussion?
Thank you.
Oh, you would say?
I will, yeah.
You might be chubby.
All right, it's moved by, Councilmember Richardson, seconded by Councilmember Bailey.
Councilmember Linnea Bailey.
Aye.
Councilmember Bob Hambrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Deborah Hines.
I will abstain. Okay,
Then yes.
I was wondering about that, or you can leave that up to Mayor, that's good. Councilmember Krista Richardson.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
thank
You
you.
get any name plate?
Oh, really? Wow.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah, really. So, all right, I think if we could, if y'all allow me to do this, I want to move, 18 up, to the next item, so move it ahead of 13, so that we can have this discussion and the Weavers can, make their public comments. If that's okay. Any discussion? Thank you.
All right, can I speak now?
Yes, please. You have 3 minutes.
All right, I'm just gonna read this, but I'm gonna, comment in a few places. November 14th, 15th, work was performed to install signs on Champions Court. The Champion Court. That's where mailing address is. One directly at the end of our driveway. We have some photos. You can see it in the photo. I mean, the tree was bad enough. In fact, I've had discussions with Kevin about the tree when we first moved here, a little over 4 years ago. nothing we can do about the tree. And then I look out the window and see them putting a post even more right behind my driveway. So, anyway, that's what the request is, to remove that sign from the end of our driveway. You know, obviously it's gonna be a hazard, especially at night. And, you know, we don't have any lights here, so you can't see. So anyway, so, you know, the sign has now made it worse. And, you know, we're concerned about us and any of our guests, you know, backing into the sign. So if the reason for, trees in the road is because of their beauty, I would assume that's what it is. Otherwise, you would have taken the trees out when they built the roads. Those signs do not enhance the beauty of the trees. They're basically really quite ugly. And, so we're saying it defeats the whole purpose of having beautiful trees in the road. And besides, the tree is huge. How can you not see the tree? And, really, I didn't realize that it was really a problem. Are we having a lot of people running into trees? I don't know. Y'all can tell me. Anyway, we're not aware of there being a problem. So we really don't see the necessity of, putting the signs up. You know, you know, I know that we asked and were told that it was a text dot requirement. Well, you know, Mississippi Wood Creek, it's not exactly the same as text dot. And so, you know, I know that it's easy. I've actually dealt with situations where it's easy just to throw a text dot rule in there, but in this case, I just don't think it makes sense. So, you know, if the desire is to make the tree more visible at night, you know, there's already a reflector on it. They've already painted stripes around it. So, I don't know. Couldn't you, instead of the sign, couldn't you put some more reflectors in the road or something besides putting those ugly signs up? So anyway, you know, that's our opinion. And, so, yeah, we just asked that, and, you know, another point we were making is that,
Give you just
I can.
a couple of seconds to wrap it up.
okay.
I wanted them to see this picture.
Well,
So if I could see.
did you sign up? One thing is that you drilled holes into the roots of the tree. If you're so concerned about the tree, then why don't you drill holes down and cut the roots?
I don't know if y'all saw the picture.
No. As I mentioned to Ms. Norman, we can't directly respond to you in public comments. But there is an agenda item, as you know, to discuss this, that will be, you know, we're gonna go into that now, so you'll probably get the answer.
Were you want to say something?
No, that's.
Okay,
So item number 18 is to discuss and take appropriate action to remove frequently placed keep right signs at tree island locations in the city of Lee Creek. Anyone want to pick that up?
Yeah, so you do want to discuss this, even though Councilman Drummer isn't here?
Well,
Sometimes
he's not here.
yeah, postpone if they're not.
I mean, if any motion, I'm sorry?
You need a motion.
I move for discussion purposes that we consider removal of the right-of-way redirectional signs at the street tree islands.
Yeah, we can discuss it and we don't have to take a vote.
Right, I second. So. For discussion.
Please.
Okay. My only concern is whether or not we legally have to have those per text dot. And this may be directed at you, Mr. Attorney, because it's the attorney. I would prefer not to have many of these because yes, they are an eyesore. And, people have not, the only place I know where they've actually run into a tree around here was this set of trees right down here. Other than that, it's not a regular thing that people run into these trees, because they don't. Maybe the reflectors would be, enough. And the only thing we really have to worry about with these is visitors. all the rest of us already know where those trees are. And then of course, if they were speeding, that'd be a different story, but those trees are not gonna move. Those cars will definitely permanently damaged most likely. So depending on what law is, if we have problems with some of them, I'd suggest that we remove whatever we can in terms of those, because they were almost a second thought in terms of being put in to begin with. They were in the contract, but most people did not realize they were in the contract, I believe. I've heard that more than once.
Can I clear up some?
Oh, so legal
some
part?
stuff? Yeah, yeah. I found out some more stuff since I talked to you. So I talked to the engineer, and in order for him to get his engineering stamp on the set of plans to do our roads, he has to put those in there. Because if he doesn't, and he puts his engineering stamp on there, or engineering stamp, and he doesn't put that they're there, and somebody hits that, we go after the engineer. And so that is why he had it, that is why it is on there. It's because in order for the stamp, just like for the traffic calming, you know, if we kind of want an engineering stamp, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's why they were put up on there. They don't have to be there if you don't want them. There is a greater liability to the city if those are not up there, because they will say you have stamped engineering documents that have those signs and you took those up. So you're responsible for taking those up. So that would be a risk that the city would take. Went somewhere else and I forgot.
The reflectors.
Oh, the reflectors that are on the trees, those are illegal. Those cannot be on the trees. It's in our code. And so we can't put more, we can put them on the ground if you want. We can put, you know, colored or whatever. Yeah, you know, the kind of ones on there as well. So I hope that, and when I talked to you, you know, it's first day, so I've done a lot of research on this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at now, kind of clears up some of it.
So selective removal with replacement with the yellow in-road reflectors may be a possible way to, I'm not so concerned, I know where they live. And there's 5 people that go down their street pretty much. There are a lot of people, not a lot of traffic down that road. So that's not the concern, that they're there for safety. And if they're there for safety, then we can maybe ameliorate the non-presence of the sign with some reflectors.
Well, I guess that's kind of basically what's been discussed, but, why were they installed in the first place? So that's what you've discussed, that to get the engineering stamp, we need that safety factor, because we hadn't had those particular posts before. And I know we're trying to protect the trees. Is there evidence that those posts damaged the roots? Did we have an arborist look at it? Or there's a lot of discussion on protecting the trees, which is good. But before we say we're removing them because of the roots, I think we need to investigate.
If I might, that damage is already done. Removing the post,
Yes,
removing the post is not gonna change anything as far as what was done to the roots.
And then also, what was the cost of installation? What will be the cost of removal? It's kind of a bit confusing that I think can give some consideration. And also, I would rather a car hit the post than the tree. You know? So I don't know that removing the post will help a driveway situation, because you're not gonna be able to back into that island anyway.
Well, Councilmember Hambrick, if I heard you correctly, saying, maybe not take them all out, but some of them just don't make good sense and could be replaced with something less obtrusive. I mean, I know that there's some at the, like, end of cul-de-sacs, on a tree island that's like this big, you know, on both sides of it, you know, and you're on a cul-de-sac. I mean, it's like, you don't really have to tell the 2 people that go down that road, which way to go around the tree. So,
And there's even some signs that are on back end of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
So only the one person that lives at the very way end would ever see it.
yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. So there are issues with these. It does need to be, we can look at it. If it's not flat illegal to pull them up, then we can work with the attorney and get a little bit of feedback there, but,
Well, and
oh, yeah, you can finish.
just
Sorry.
the, is this 22-308? Is that a new addition to the ordinance?
No,
That, okay, that's just here, that, because it does give protections to the trees as far as trimming and all of that, so, okay, we're not voting on your ordinance,
No, that ordinance was passed in 22.
okay,
It just hasn't been codified yet on our muni code, and
Okay. that's all.
that's another issue.
Mayor Pro Tem Hines.
Thank you so much. There's a couple factors here that I think bear kind of larger explaining for everyone, meaning the engineering stamp was to bring our roads up to snuff with county standards. And so that's what they did. That's why all that striping and all of that stuff happened. And, I think all of council regrets not catching in advance those specific signs because it was new for many of us. That packet was huge, not to make excuses for ourselves, but it was easy to miss something like that and sort of trust that the experts knew what they were doing. Unfortunately, in this case, that the installation of those signs is in direct conflict with another ordinance or tree protection ordinance. So that should have been a red flag for multiple people and we just missed it. And that we can't fix that. The damage is already done to the roots. Yes, we know the roots were damaged because they're in the critical root zone under the trees, which we protect in all construction throughout the city, and we have for many years actually, prior to any new updates. So it's unfortunate it occurred. It also technically required an arborist to at least oversee because of it being in the critical root zone. So that was another oversight, unfortunately. But we're here, and removing them all presents a safety concern and a potential liability and will have an additional cost. To me, the aesthetics of it just don't impact me as hard. Where I think that they are impractical and a little bit excessive are directly behind driveways and cul-de-sacs. And so I would like us to strategically remove a few of them, specifically the ones behind the weavers, and address the cul-de-sacs and the driveways, kind of do like a little review of that and see if there's any other ones that are incredibly problematic. I mean, we redid the island at Augusta and Brook Meadow for the same reason. New builds made the previous island a driveway hazard. So that's a real concern that I think the city can address, but just saying we don't like the way they look. I don't know that it warrants that extra cost right now, personally, throughout the city.
Well, I mean, strategic surgical, excision,
Extraction, yeah.
does make sense
Yeah.
to me.
There are 53 signs
Total,
yes.
total.
or the one, okay, but not just like the ones behind the cold.
No, that's total throughout the whole.
Yeah, okay.
53 signs.
I'm unclear, do we need to make an action on this? Because it seems a little bit like the removal of signs or the installation of signs is actually the manager's responsibility, but considering the city is putting itself at liability, would we need?
Yeah, we can, if you will tell me which islands you would want those to be removed, we will put together a resolution stating that, and then that way you can officially vote on it. I'm trying in this new year, anything that gets voted on needs to have a resolution or ordinance attached to it because, yes. So if you would tell, okay, remove the ones at, Champion Circle. One champion court
One champion.
on both sides. And then, isn't there one at the end of?
Yeah, there's
Champion?
another one down the coast.
Yeah, and then you give me those addresses, we'll write an ordinance we can have it in January if you wanted to, if you can get me those addresses.
There's another one at the end of Spalding Street.
Yeah, I understand. I would probably just kind of go to,
Yeah, we know where they are.
Please, y'all.
I would probably just personally, and I can handle driving this and doing this, marking the addresses, but in my mind, it literally is just every cul-de-sac, every dead-end road we have, they're a little bit excessive, because it's 10 vehicles, private driveways, max usually, you know, that are impacted, and as we said, it's, you know, guests are the only people really at hazard, and those, I mean, leave them on Brook Meadow, leave them on, you know, oh gosh, Champion Circle, that's about it, right?
Well, we can go.
That's why I want, just give me the addresses.
Everyone,
I would hate to miss one that y'all want.
Councilman
ones that
Richardson,
they
the only
want
one that
to-
hasn't spoken.
Yes.
We know where they
Before,
are.
before I recognize anybody else.
I'm in agreement. I believe that just removing those few isolated ones that really impact people's driveways. I mean, I know exactly, I live down the street from you guys, so, and I know how tight that space is for you guys to back out of your driveway and, you know, the trees here, the pines right here, so that's, you know, somebody, if you have somebody over that's not familiar, they're way more likely to hit that sign. And yeah, I just don't see the true need for the ones in those places where there's not gonna be a lot of frequent, people driving around, so, but I don't think we need to remove all of them, so yeah, I definitely think we should figure out which ones are most impactful.
You have any comment?
I'm here, unless you have a question.
One more time.
Just a quick comment on that, I know there's one in Country Court, I don't think it's bothering anyone, just seems like unless somebody's complaining, maybe we don't go to the expense of removing them.
Okay,
It's a
so
consideration.
if I give staff direction on which addresses, is the assumption that any in these cul-de-sacs or kind of dead-end areas would be just sort of like removed? Okay, or do we not have a consensus on that?
I'm not agreeing with that just yet,
Okay,
because I don't know how much is it gonna cost, and is this unnecessary? If somebody's really concerned, yes, take it away, but just to blanket. I just like to consider it before we blanket take out all cul-de-sacs.
I agree with you.
any estimate of the cost, or you just pull the signs up?
No,
They're buried.
yeah, they're seeing it in, but we can't do it.
Well,
I mean, we don't have the resources.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Ours is not,
Yours is not.
it's leaning over.
I thought they were like in shafts. Is what the-
They're in shaft.
It's in shafts.
There's a metal piece that they, like a shim.
Yeah.
It's a breakaway sign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you pull the shim, you pull the sign.
If you don't pull it up though, there's a piece of metal sticking out right here that people can run over and punch your tire. So we're gonna take the whole thing up.
That's gonna damage the trees more.
There's a compromise there too, I think.
All right, I'll focus on
This,
strategic addresses and maybe even, do you have a cost estimate at all?
No.
So maybe we'll need that.
We're working with the different companies to do some
I got.
public works around here.
Okay,
So, that'd be part of their.
Can I comment? Because, you know, we brought this up as soon as they drilled that hole.
they were in the
But-
process.
Yeah, and they paused that day, but then, you know, they came
We'll
back.
we'll look at your place specifically, we'll look at Spalding
But I mean,
specifically,
that,
since y'all are
that
here,
could, I don't know the procedure. That could have been curtailed at that moment before they went to all that trouble.
well, hindsight. Any further discussion? Okay. Thank you very much, thank you for your comment. And we will move on to number 15, discuss and take possible action on adopting resolution 2023-12-13-2, Alpha Texas franchise agreement. And you want to speak to that, city manager?
Sure. We have Aqua representatives, here with us tonight. The mayor, myself, and Aqua Texas have been working, on updating our franchise agreement that ran out sometime before, I don't know, but we have, I think we've come to a consensus On the, agreement, it is in your packet in ordinance form, I believe. They have agreed to it. They are here to answer any questions that you may have about that or any concerns. You can talk to them now. I don't know, that's pretty much it.
Do y'all have a Stephanie, y'all have any, you're just answering questions, do you have any,
No, we're just here to answer questions. I mean,
you want to introduce yourself?
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Brent Ray with Hawk, Texas. I'm the area manager.
I'm Lauren Savior. I'm the compliance department for the whole state. And I mainly handle our groundwater permitting, groundwater compliance, conservation.
And I'm Jennifer Olahan. I'm the regional communication specialist for that.
We're here pretty much just to answer questions. The mayor and the city manager had worked with our senior leadership and
Yeah,
The only sections that we really changed is that in section 10 are, if you look in the agreement, page 79 in your packet. That is, there might have been some minor changes elsewhere, but the main, additions were in section 10, I believe. I believe I'm correct, Mayor. That's your understanding as well.
so to give you a little history, the franchise agreement was in negotiation. We hired an attorney that specializes in this kind of thing. They made changes. And it was, I mean, there were a couple of sticking points, but it was pretty close. And this is like, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 2 years ago.
yeah.
January 2020 was when it ran out,
Yeah.
and then we were negotiating.
And then we were in negotiation on the new one, and an outside group kind of intervened, and asked that we sort of put off, the franchise agreement, approval, because there were just some things they wanted to do in terms of, sort of outlining conservation measures and some other things that were not in that franchise agreement. So it just sort of sat. So we picked it up again, former Mayor Pro Tem Pulley, manager, the new leadership of the leadership of Aqua Texas changed as well, during this time frame, and also Aqua America.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of changes.
Yeah.
We went from Aqua America to Essentials and then something else. I think People's Gas got involved as well. So there was a lot of changes in the Aqua.
So we had met with Craig Blanchett, the Aqua Texas president, on some, and this is County Commissioner Shell, Mayor Fulkerson from Wimberley. So we're talking about sort of valley-wide things, and the feeling was that our franchise agreement could sort of solve all the problems in the valley, and it won't. I mean, our job is to take care of Wood Creek, Texas, and our citizens, and the contract that we have with that. So we can't solve all the problems of the world, but what City Manager Rule was talking about in section 10 sort of deals with some of these. Okay, well, we both agree to come to the table and work towards conservation solutions, that wasn't in the prior franchise agreement. And so that's what those items in section 10 are pretty much all about, is that we agree by signing, both groups signing the franchise agreement, that we will get back into, have a legal agreement between us. It hasn't cost them, they've still paid their franchise fees, but we just haven't had an agreement. So this would give us the agreement. It allows us to get to the table and talk about some, one water kind of solutions. We're talking about some changes that we can make to our own ordinances to help, put like, purple pipe and other conservation measures in new development. And so this just allows us to do it a little bit easier. So that's in a nutshell what the changes are.
For the benefit of the public and anybody who's not just gonna cross their eyes reading this whole thing, key points that I noticed in section 10 that I wanted to bring up that, have been on our public's wish list for a while that are now in the franchise agreement before us. Are, it's specifically the concept of a designated customer service representative. That is very new and something we pushed for a long time. Also, as Mayor Rasco talked about, the one water concepts are what's gonna allow us to sort of try to work with the valley and kind of hold contractors and developers a little bit more accountable for water conservation measures at the start of a project versus trying to retrofit and you know, kind of this emergency disaster, fixing everything at the last minute. So we can start kind of having strategic planning for the community. That's section 10.4 there. That's really cool. Another really great addition I saw was the concept that the city will no longer be personally paying a water bill every month. And that's very helpful. You know, the city water services, that being a bill reduced for us is great.
That actually came from Mr. Blanchett.
Yeah.
He said, yep, pay for your water.
I do want to make one comment on that. We can't remove the meters. We have to still read those meters because we're accountable for the water.
Right.
So, but y'all won't be charged for the monthly fees and stuff like that.
And honestly, as my last comment, I just want to thank all three of y'all for being here because in the few years I've been watching meetings and now attending meetings regularly, this is the most Aqua showed up for our community in a very long time. And specifically under this new leadership, and I know some of y'all are newer to your titles, that change in direction over the long term is going to make an even bigger difference than maybe this franchise agreement. Because the level of cooperation, engagement, and investment in our community is like tangible, palpable, visible, you know, so I just really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate
I think that we tend to learn from our mistakes. And we've had, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, Snowden. We had a hero from Aqua, his name was Jason.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was the most, he represented for Aqua very, very well. But it could have been even better because he couldn't do all the stuff that we had. We had problems with our tank, with our tower, and the generator, and those sorts of things are the things that people tend to remember. They don't remember when things are going well.
Yeah.
But when those things happen, that's why we really need that representation to be very sensitive to our needs when that time comes. Because most people now either have some storage tanks, or they carry 50 gallons of water in their single, whatever they have. And that's learning from your mistake. But the real one is more the macro picture of making sure that our regular water supply is always available.
Right, yeah, and we do, we've had a little bit of issue with, PEC, Pronounced Electric Co-op, I don't know if y'all have. But we're getting that resolved, and so we should be having the generator fully online. We're hoping by the end of the year, but PEC was pretty slow.
It's before the next raise or something.
Yeah, exactly, the day before.
As long as it gets checked at least once a month. When the dang thing doesn't start, what's the use of it?
Yeah, so once we get it in online and everything, it'll be set up so that it doesn't, I don't know if we'll have it weekly, but at least monthly, it'll come on by itself and run and stuff like that. So that's just part of it.
I've been personally pleased. I mean, this is sort of dovetailing off of what you're saying. I get great pleasure from, feeling like I'm having a good, honest discussion with somebody, and it's not, somebody trying to pull the wool over your eyes or trying to, slip a deal under, and it's like and I worked with the previous leadership of Aqua in a former life. And so I have something to compare it to. And really from the first meeting that we had with Colleen and Craig and Scott, it's like, okay, so we're not all on the same page, but it was just very open and honest discussion. And a willingness to listen and look for common ground. And that's very encouraging, I think, for the whole future of the valley.
Okay, I had a couple of items, these might not be part of this agreement, but I gotta bring them up. Also, I remember back in 2008 or so, we had a survey. And every citizen hated architects. It's come a long way since then. The customer service has really changed.
You don't want to hear that.
Okay, no,
It's too late.
so, Mayor and I got together, we separately went to the Hays County, growth seminar, December 3rd. And Aqua Texas was one of the 8 items on this discussion, talking about now, what we did hear from this is that the fines and that sort of thing, that's not up to the city, that's Hays County. But what about, I do want to know if anything will be done, or as part of our agreement, to improve the drainage, improve the overpumping, improve the water loss that Aqua Texas has had in the past.
So the franchise, we're just here for the franchise agreement.
Okay, right.
Whatever's in the franchise agreement is in the franchise agreement. I can't speak for the fines or anything like that, that's.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Okay.
Those questions, those issues, that is not part of a franchise agreement. It would have to be it would be a different agreement, yeah.
And then another thing that probably would be also, but I'm just curious when it would be discussed. Used to be Aqua Texas could pump our water and sell it. Will that also be in a different kind of
Correct.
agreement?
This is just for our
This is-
3%
this is our
franchise.
3%.
Correct. Correct, yes.
Okay.
All of those are separate issues that we're
We're gonna
working with them
do
on,
that.
that we eventually, hopefully will come to
Okay.
agreement.
Just for your, just for your information, there is a memorandum of understanding this, in the works now for quite some time. Between sort of all the stakeholders in the valley, including Aqua Texas. If that comes to pass, that deals more specifically with some of your questions. But that's completely out of the city's jurisdiction. We're not bystanders. I mean, we kind of have a vote in it, but it's not part of the franchise agreement.
I just want to give you an explanation of what that specifically relates to. It's their permit with the Hayes Trinity Groundwater District, basically the channel from the state. So all of that is dealt with under that. And so the city, we have influence in say, because our representative represents us on that board, but we don't actually get to manage that. That's actually the state and then the Hayes Trinity Groundwater District management of that.
Not even
But-
counting it.
Yeah, but what we can talk about or mention is that there are previous reports from Mayor Rasco in city minutes and recaps where he does address the questions you had, because we have been given reports from Aqua on those topics.
And we can bring them back too. I mean, we can invite,
They're big
Yeah.
issues and I want to point
you know,
out.
some of the broader issues,
Yeah.
valley-wide issues.
You know, outside of the franchise agreement, Aqua is willing to sit down with anybody on the council or anybody in Wood Creek to ask those questions and we'll provide answers. I mean, obviously, we can't give you an answer right away. On some questions, you know, we can, but other questions would involve, you know, getting more data and stuff like that. But we're willing to sit down with you know, anybody, the council, or like I said, even if it's just a stakeholder group or a committee from the council wants to meet with us to discuss some of these things. We'll sit down.
And the other part of my question, as far as, can Aqua Texas pump water from our ground and sell it to another entity? Or is that outside of the?
Well, it's
franchise?
outside of the franchise.
It is
Yeah,
outside.
yes, yeah.
That's a separate kind of permit that's issued from the state through the groundwater district. And Aqua can get it, and they've had it in the past, and it's probably so good, it's only postponed right now because of the
Sure.
drought restriction.
So we have no control over stopping that.
That's remember Richardson.
Just being new to council and not privy to the previous agreement, is that franchise fee, the 3%, the same as it was before?
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard, is.
It is, that was one of the sticking points before, is that previous council was trying to raise it to 5. And it, did not go over well. And so it came back to, so it settled on 3, even like 3 years ago. But that was one of the sticking points in the previous franchise agreement.
I move that we approve, or sorry, I move that we adopt resolution 2023-12-13-02 Aqua Texas franchise agreement.
A second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, City Secretary, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Linnea Bailey,
Aye.
Councilmember Bob Hambrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Deborah Hines,
Aye.
Councilmember Krista Richardson.
All right, vote is 4-0. The resolution passes. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you again.
Yes, we'll see. And I just want to say, if if you want to talk, meet on whatever committee or something like that, like I said, we're happy to meet with you and move forward.
Yeah, we're not too shy about that.
You have my number.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. All right, so, item number 14 is to discuss and take possible action to coordinate a council retreat in January of 2024. That's mine. I would appreciate a motion to the effect and discuss.
I move that we approve a council retreat to occur in January 2024.
Second. I'll give it to Councilmember Hamper. Second. So we might try to get not just the council staff, council attorneys, council, we could invite Aqua Texas, whoever we want, but to be able to get offsite, focused for, the better part of the day. Now, not everybody has to be there. I mean, we wouldn't ask the attorneys to come, from 9 to 4, but I'm asking y'all to be from 9 to 4. I'm asking you to be from 9 to 4, and we'll take breaks and whatever. The camp, Gudea has a facility available. We've got, looks like pretty good numbers for January 29th. We want to have a facilitated retreat, so that we've got a objective third party who's trained in this to be able to, if there's any conflict resolution we have to work out, but how, and then we would count on our attorneys to help with some Robert's Rules things, and so I'd like to invite the chairs, the committee chairs, to come in for a session, not the whole time, but for a session, and we can have breakouts so that there's a lot of ways to get this all done in a reasonable amount of time, but the goal is to come out of it where we understand how council is best going to work with staff, how council is best going to work with the attorneys, how council is best going to work with each other. And so it's something I wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to do it last year, and I finally did. Let's see if I can make this happen. So that's what it's all about.
No, we can't go to Tahoe.
No,
Vegas.
yeah. Actually, in my past life, we could have, and it would have been free, but any discussion? If not, then I'll continue. I will ask for some support from council and staff, in some of the planning. Kevin and I've already worked together on like facilitators and trying to hammer that out. But it looks good. I think it'll be It'll be first time we've done this, so, now hopefully it'll go really well and be a precedent for future years. And if it doesn't, then it's we can. All right, so we have unless there's further discussion, we have a motion on the floor to approve the coordination of this retreat. Did you do that?
We haven't voted yet.
Oh,
Yeah, it was, Deborah moved, you seconded, so we thought it was,
Councilmember Bob Hambrick,
aye.
Council. Mayor Pro Tem
Thank you.
Deborah, I can't even say it, Deborah Hyde.
Yeah, I.
Councilmember Krista Richardson
Aye.
and Councilmember Linnea Bailey.
Aye.
thank you, I appreciate it. Next item, I also submitted is discuss and take thoughtful action on the Boy Scout, Eagle Project for rainwater collection in Augusta Park. And that we would use, some of the unspent spectacular funds to cover the, cost of materials. And I would, entertain a motion to that, okay?
I move that we, go forward with this Eagle Scout project, using the funds that are mentioned here.
A second?
Seconded by Councilmember Bailey. Now the plans are in place. I understand from, Becky Denton from the Parks, Board that the young man, has secured the tank already from King Feed. It was donated, so the cost goes down there. I mean, so basically half the cost goes down. There was some discussion about making it a little bit less open, you know, sort of. Add some siding, so it's a little bit, you know, just for aesthetics. But I think it's a great opportunity to help Scout and to, help our wildlife and plants in that area. And to, if we can just get it done before it rains, we'll be in great shape. Any discussion, questions? So, vote on that. City Secretary?
Councilmember Linnea Bailey,
Aye.
Councilmember Bob Hambrick,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Deborah Hyde,
I.
Councilmember Krista Richardson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Passed unanimously. So number 16, again, a little brainstorm of fun is to discuss and take possible action to host a family-friendly golf tournament as part of a year-long celebration of Wood Creek's 40th birthday. Appreciate a motion for that.
I move that we host a family-friendly golf tournament as part of a year-long celebration of Wood Creek's 40th birthday.
That's it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I second that one.
All right. All right, let me, I included, it wasn't in the packet, but, it's at your table. This came to mind as, an offshoot of a tournament that I've been a part of for 20-something years. And we play on Boxing Day every year, the 26th of December. And it's all for fun. Good golfers need not apply.
Can I put some money on it?
You could, but I don't want to know about it. But you'll notice, the bingo set up here. So in this case, we played every odd hole, with a gimmick hole. So it would be like across the top of the, 1, 3, 5, 7, up to 17. And then the teams were down the left-hand side. And so, like if I'm on hole number 1 and it's like all from the red tees, everybody on my team is from the red tees. But when the second team comes up to the number 1 hole, they're all playing for the blue tees. And when the third team comes up, one player sits out. And so you're playing with 3 people instead of 4. And so it's a scramble tournament. So it goes fast. It goes, well, relatively. No, because nobody can play golf. But then there's a caveat to this. So this would be fun, and it's intended to be break even. There'd be a small entry fee. We get some sponsorships, we've already talked to the golf tournament about it, they're all in. But there was a wrinkle in that, as probably everyone knows, on April 8th, on Monday, April 8th of 24, we have a total solar eclipse. And we've sat in on emergency management meetings with the county and law enforcement, EM, city of Wimberley, everybody. And one of the things that came up strongly was, we want to keep people off the streets, because people get nutty, when it gets dark in the middle of the day. And they will literally pull off on 290, they will just pull over on 290 and get out of their car and go stare up at the sun. So what we're saying is, how do we keep people off the street? So, there was discussion about, people can, camp over at Lions. Well, the Lions parking can't handle, and they're gonna probably handle parking, but not camping. But I said, well, if we had the tournament that morning, and worked with the golf course, we just have a 9-hole tournament. They could all be gimmickable. Just have a little 9-hole tournament. The golfing portion of the tournament is over about the time that the sun starts going behind. We've got, let's say, branded blankets from Doubleday Ranch. People get their little picnic out of their golf cart, lay it out on the middle of the fairway, which is a perfect viewing area. It keeps it on the street. We come back after the eclipse passes totality, have the celebratory barbecue or whatever it is that we do. So that's the brainstorm. For it to work, obviously, I've got to be able to pull together a planning committee. We've got to have some people who know a little bit about organizing a golf tournament, but we have those. Like I said, I've already talked to the golf course, and they're pretty excited about it. They're really excited about it, actually, but it's like, there's that question mark of, can we pull it off logistically, on Eclipse Day, and do our part to, sort of keep people, from buzzing around town and creating dangers for themselves and others, or do we do it another time? So, and the 40th anniversary thing is just by coincidence. It's just one event, hopefully, out of, many that we're going to do to celebrate our 40th. So we just keep hanging it. So Wood Creek Day at Double J, something about the dark.
Okay.
So anyway, that's my explanation. So, yes, ma'am.
I love the idea of the small tournament, and I think that'd be a really fun community event. As far as having it on the day of the eclipse, my only concern would be possibly lower turnout than for putting so much effort into an event like that, just because there are so many places locally that are having special viewing parties.
Oh, yeah.
And people might be having like friends and family coming in from out of town, because we are in that path totality that, we might have friends that would come in and be like, well, no, I came here to see the eclipse. I didn't come to watch golf. So I don't know if that would affect.
Yeah, we have people staying with us.
I would just hate to have so much effort put into something like this and not have as many people attend as we would like. I know this is something I would definitely want to attend. But.
So I just sort of threw the eclipse thing out because I thought, it could have some benefit to it, but also, just being able to go out on a golf course, and lay a blanket out, not play golf, just lay a blanket out and have a perfect viewing thing also, comes into play. So we could have it on a different day, but still have fun.
I just wanted to mention that the idea of the golf course cooperating and having that as a viewing area, and then also having volunteer cleanup afterwards, things like that. I think that's great, whether it's a golf tournament, but working with them, people are gonna be there anyway, but this way it'll be more organized and.
Yeah, that makes better sense.
Yeah, so. Super.
I was just gonna say, with the motion as it is, we can move forward with going towards like a planning committee and considering all
Yeah.
the factors, and
We
you can
could
make
say,
a note of that, right?
in the motion.
Right, so, you know, like, the committee can talk about that. Does it make sense to have the tournament on the same day as the eclipse? Or should we have two different things and ask for the, you know, the eclipse viewing period to be open on the golf course? They shut down golfing briefly, probably will have to anyway.
They have to.
Yeah, they didn't shut down my son's soccer game for the last,
annular?
yeah.
It wasn't dark enough.
Yeah.
No, but it was weird and creepy, but also all the parents weren't watching the game, we're staring at the sun instead. But, so I think I think it sounds like everybody's in agreement with the idea of the golf tournament at the very least, so. I don't,
And we can approach the course about, using their space, you know, for resident, giving residents permission to go, you know, throw a blanket down and open a picnic lunch and put on their glasses. I was thinking, you know, we'd have like, you know, Wood Creek glasses, which we still do.
yeah,
Um,
so could we,
Glasgow made a bunch of money on their glasses.
yeah, they did.
yeah, the city can't really do that in the same way though, right?
No.
Yeah,
By donation, they did donation.
yeah. But what I'm hearing is that we might honestly, instead of with this planning committee, maybe the goal beyond the golf tournament, because that's what tonight's thing is about, so I can't make another motion. But it sounds like we just need a 40th year planning committee in
We do.
general too, yeah.
And that was part of the discussion. I know that Suzanne has given that thought as well about things that for the 40th, so.
I'm doing a scrapbook and an online
Yeah,
presentation of the
yeah,
scrapbook.
which, you know, it's like, we should be doing that, I mean, like, now.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if, you know, volunteer applications came in that, you know, that people that look reasonable for that. You know, that would serve on that committee, but we all know people that, oh yeah, she's really good at that, she's a good organizer, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that Spectacular being a good example, Arbor Day was fantastic. We got great people that are really smart.
Yeah.
That can make this a really fun year.
I think we should have a 40th anniversary garage sale. I always want another one.
No,
You can only sell something that's 40 years old.
Oh my God, you're
That's all my question. All right, so we'll be voting just on moving forward with planning on a family-friendly golf tournament. Okay, is that good? All right, so I guess we should vote on that.
Councilmember Linnea Bailey.
Aye.
Councilmember Bob Hambrick.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Deborah Hines.
Aye.
Councilmember Krista Richardson.
All right, thank you all. Okay, I'm done. And then item number 17, I think we should, table, frankly, until, Mr. Grimmer is back, and also there's some background work that has been done on chapter 30, to share. So I would entertain a motion to table.
I move that we table it until the next regular council meeting.
And take turns. All right, so, with 17 being tabled, there are announcements.
I have, just remember, City Hall will be closed, 22nd through the 26th. Also, come by City Hall to get your,
Luminaries.
yes, those. We have the sand, we have the bags, and we have the tea lights. So if you have not signed up, do they still need to sign up or just come by?
They can combine just fill out the form. So you
They can
have
just-
to come in and get their-
They can just come by, fill out a form, and we'll give them those. Those are to be put up on Christmas Eve night.
fireworks.
Oh, fireworks at CYJ from 8:30 to 8:45 on the 31st. And then we're closed New Year's Day. And happy holidays.
I have a comment to make. Those luminaria are some of the prettiest things you'll ever see and they're great for your whole neighborhood if you wanna talk to your neighbors as well, pick up theirs if you have to.
I've got 7 kids.
Yeah, but they look beautiful.
Right, we do have, today was the first day we did it. We did have, residents come in and pick it up for their neighbors too. And so we can do that. We just need to, put you on our list so we know who has them and who's got them. But yes,
And I would-
encourage neighbors to get involved as well.
I went on Amazon, just out of curiosity, on those battery powered tea lights. You can get like 150 of them for $30. Yeah, Monica asked about, the environmental concerns, so I was throwing away all the little plastic things, but anyway, it was just like, really?
Yeah, I guess that was what Mr. Rawlings talked about was with the tea lights that are not battery powered, there's way less waste versus the battery, but yeah. The idea of being able to reuse them is very appealing.
Yeah, but I'm not sure you can even change the batteries on these things. Okay, so,
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
so be it.
Hey, Kevin, yeah. I didn't remove it from the